Football brings excitement, but sometimes too much excitement. From pitch invasions to rivalries taken too far, footy fans around the world have sometimes been guilty of chaotic behavior. So let's take a look at 10 times football fans went too far. A couple of football-loving criminals definitely went way too far in 1966. Remember the legendary image of Bobby Moore lifting the Jules Rimet trophy after England's Cup final win? It could have been so different if not for Pickles the dog. Prior to the World Cup, the trophy had been put on display in Westminster's Central Hall a few months before the tournament was due to start. A very bad lapse in security gave two thieves the chance to steal the trophy. They took it and demanded a ransom. When one of the thieves, James Bletchley, went to collect the ransom, he was arrested. The trophy was still missing though. By chance, Dave Corbett and Pickles the dog were off for walkies. They passed a neighbor's vehicle, noticing a package inside, wrapped in newspaper. Upon checking it, Corbett discovered it was in fact the World Cup. Talk about a random discovery. Corbett handed it in to the police and initially found himself as a suspect before being cleared. The trophy was then ready for Moore and his side to lift it. In 1983, however, the trophy was stolen again, this time in Brazil, and never recovered. Our next story might be even weirder. A group of Dutch fans definitely took things too far in the 2006 World Cup. This weird story made headlines as another strange fan trend had unexpected results. During the tournament, Dutch fans had started wearing bright orange lederhosen trousers, which carried the beer brand name Bavaria on them. Unfortunately, because Bavaria wasn't one of the official World Cup sponsors and a direct rival to Budweiser, who were a sponsor, fans were banned from entering some of the stadiums with these lederhosen on. The only thing left for some of the Dutch fans to do in order to see their beloved Oranges play was to take their trousers off and go in without them. It's the 1962 World Cup. England are playing defending champions Brazil in the quarterfinals. Jimmy Greaves is one of England's star players, but by the end of the game he'd find himself being called Garrincha dog catcher in Brazil. One overeager furry fan escaped security and ran onto the pitch, interrupting the massive game. Jimmy Greaves chased the dog around, got on all fours, and managed to approach. He caught the dog. The reason why Greaves would become known as Garrincha dog catcher is because the Brazilian icon Garrincha, named player of the tournament, was so taken by the dog he later adopted it. A happy ending, although for England it wasn't, as they lost 3-1 to the great Brazil. 2014 World Cup final day. Messi is about to inspire an expected Argentinian victory over Germany, but sometimes things don't go to plan. Germany won the game, and the match was also temporarily interrupted by the chaotic pitch invasion by YouTuber Vitaly ZDTV. The already popular Russian YouTuber awaited a quiet moment in the game. In fairness, it was a boring and edgy game, so there were plenty of moments to choose from. Vitaly ran on the pitch, live streaming the whole thing. His video went viral, his fame propelled him forwards, and now he has around 10 million subscribers. Making a fool of yourself in the pursuit of fame. It was definitely a step too far, but it did the job. Pitch invaders are often annoying, and plenty of viewers probably hoped he'd be on the receiving end of a Javier Mascherano tackle. What was the standout talking point of the 2010 World Cup? Can you even remember who won? I'll tell you, it was Spain. The South Africa World Cup wasn't always the most exciting, but it definitely had some contentious moments. The worst part about the tournament was something that had stadium fans and TV viewers across the world clutching their aching ears. Yes, the dreaded vuvuzela, a plastic shell that creates a loud and horrible sound when blown. The only sound worse comes from your kid's recorder or your Australian uncle's didgeridoo. It was a silly attempt by organizers to increase the atmosphere in stadiums and trigger a merchandise trend. It worked too, because a section of fans loved the vuvuzela. Maybe the fans using them were drunk as they were blowing the horn. This fan trend was a negative in the World Cup, and unsurprisingly, future World Cups banned the use of the vuvuzela, from the downright annoying to the tragically embarrassing. In case you don't know, Great Britain is a fractured state when it comes to football. Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland all actively dislike the England side, and the feeling is mutual. Given the fact England have rarely been joined in major tournaments by their UK neighbors, you might wonder why Wales and Scotland don't root for them. Maybe it's slightly irrational, but at Qatar, England and Wales were drawn in the same group, scheduled to meet on the final group match just for good measure. Kiefer Moore of Wales stoked the rivalry, claiming he wanted to knock England out. Welsh fans also wanted their side to progress at the expense of England. As per usual, the England fans' response was arrogance. As the national anthems played, Wales booed the English national anthem. It's quite normal when the teams play, and despite a relatively small showing of Welsh fans in Qatar, they were impressively loud. Trouble is, it backfired and England ran out 3-0 winners and sent Wales on the next flight home. Ouch. The on-pitch rivalry between England and Wales and the animosity between some groups of fans always has a threat of igniting into something more unfortunate. Qatar's stadium alcohol ban wasn't a popular decision, but it has proven to be successful in curbing too many fan clashes in and around the stadiums. Qatar's stricter laws inspire better behavior too, and various governments have carefully monitored ultras attempting to travel there. Sadly, Wales and England fans still managed to drunkenly clash during the Qatar World Cup. They just had to do it in Tenerife, a popular location for British tourists, with thousands of football-loving fans flying into the country for a World Cup holiday. And just when Britain's respectable fans thought the Fools might have a quiet tournament, this happened. Sadly, there's no booze ban in Tenerife. I'm so sorry to do this to you, England fans, but it's back to the Vuvuzela World Cup in 2010. This was a horrible World Cup for England. They were awful to watch, and it had been a long wait for tournament football, having failed to qualify for the 2008 Euros. England played Algeria. It was a board draw that led to snores, a horrible game, and the England fans were very vocal about their disapproval. Beckham wasn't a player in the tournament, but a regular presence in the England camp and on the sidelines. His presence didn't go unnoticed as one angry fan slipped past security after the game and managed to chase down Beckham outside the dressing rooms. The fan complained to Golden Balls. Meanwhile, the FA, the England squad, and even Prince William and Harry, who were there, were left wondering how much a security lapse could take place. The fan was ushered away. The 2006 World Cup was as popular as you would expect a World Cup to be. A few years after the Japan and South Korea World Cup, it seemed as if football across Asia had grown in popularity. There was a wave of popularity in China for the 2006 World Cup. They were football crazy there, but this led to a number of situations where fans got just a little bit too excited. Fans swarmed bars and streets where the games were being broadcasted, often drinking heavily. In Cambodia, where the World Cup craze also appeared, some monks had been found drunk during match days, leading to many Buddhist monks being warned about succumbing to alcohol. And now we have our final selection. In Qatar, the World Cup was full of surprises. Many underdogs pulled off an impressive result and some sides overachieved. You might say that the Socceroos did very well to make it to the final 16. This wasn't lost on their fans either. The Australian fans went wild, celebrating the side's win over Denmark. The Aussies definitely have a flair for celebration, but unfortunately they also had another type of flair. Fans let off flares inside the stadium and outside. They celebrated with players too. Meanwhile, those party-hard Aussies back home at around 4 a.m. were also partying in bars and clubs with flares too. They might even claim they lit up the tournament. However, the negative side was also seen in their earlier defeat to Argentina. Flares came out there too, thrown into crowds at Federation Square in Sydney. One fan was left with a burnt hand, and another almost lost an eye.